Soon. Okay. We be live.
We live?
We be
Yeah,
live.
we're live. Okay, everyone, we got an intimate group in here. So how many people garden or grow your own food or have tried growing your own food? Okay, pretty much everybody here. So when we go into these corporations, these companies, that's not usually the response that we get. It's usually much fewer people who actually grow food and garden. So for us, this is a different audience than we're used to talking to. But wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what we do, helping people grow food that usually don't even think about it, and get to transform their life in a different way. So this is myself. I'm Josh Levine. I'm the co-founder of StartOrganic. This is my partner Troy with me here. We've been doing it for 13 years now. Since 2010, we started off as a backyard gardening company where we help people grow food. We planted gardens, we built gardens, we did education, and we even grew food for people at that time. As we evolved, I got my number one employee here, Quincy. This is my daughter. She has been, helping me garden since she was born, and it's really kind of one of our goals is to teach people that maybe would never think about gardening, so that their kids can then start to grow up and garden as well. So it's really this trickle-down effect that we're trying to do with our employee gardens that we've seen an impact that's really great. So what is an employee garden? I mean, you can kind of guess what it is. I'm not sure if I have audio on this or not. If not, I may just skip it. Yeah, I can't. You guys won't be able to hear that. But basically what we do is we have employee gardens at different campuses, mostly in the Bay Area. I live in Santa Barbara, but we do have corporate gardens at a bunch of Bay Area companies where we're just trying to influence these people to have a little bit of time away from their desk, get outside, learn a little bit about growing food, and then, hopefully pass that into their neighborhoods as well. Our first employee garden was at eBay Inc., which now is the PayPal employee garden. It was really them just needing somebody to help out, organize their garden, try to get their employees more involved in the space that they had. So they brought us on board to really organize a program and lead the first employee garden because they wanted people to be involved in it and not just have someone maintaining something on their campus like most of the stuff that they have. Since then, we've really had the opportunity to work with a lot of companies since then. You can see the list on top. We work with Apple, Symantec, Intuit, IBM, Patagonia. We did some things for HPE. The list goes on and on. We're seeing a real value in teaching employee education around gardening. For us, it's really about a lot of different goals that these companies already have. You have dining, you have sustainability, team building, wellness, culture teams, engagement, green teams. All these companies have these things, and usually they pick, okay, this is for sustainability. But we're seeing that our employee gardens actually cover all of these different genres that these companies are looking to cover. We do live in California. We have 2 growing seasons. It makes it really nice for us to teach, the fall and winter course, and also teach a spring-summer course for these employees that are at these companies. It's really cool for them to see the growth happening on their campus, these beautiful gardens popping up, being able to harvest and really see the growth of it. And then hopefully with our assistance, they'll take this knowledge home and really see that it's not that difficult if you really set things up properly. This is kind of I'll just talk through this. It's a little tour of our PayPal garden, just to give you an idea of what an employee may do if they're walking through the garden on their break after working. Maybe they work 12-hour days sitting behind the desk. It just gives them a little bit of a place to go where their employer is okay with them taking a break and get a little bit of nature and learn how to grow food as well. I'll skip through this. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what they may have when they walk through their campus. It also gives a lot of people, when they go to a tech campus, you don't expect to see this kind of life growing in the middle of a tech campus, and it gives their people that visit the campus something to do, something that's intriguing. All the international people that visit really are intrigued by having a corporate garden that's well maintained by the employees, not by us. So what are the ways that we engage employees? We do in-person gardening instruction. Obviously, if they have a garden, we're there to be there for them. We do events in the garden for different groups. You know, Earth Day is usually our biggest day. We go into these companies and we bring them out to the garden, or we bring in something for them to do as far as gardening goes. It's very popular. We get great feedback. We do bring kids to work days. We do little, we've done mazes in the garden. We've had seating activities, lunch and learns, tomato tastings, planned meals in the garden. We've had chefs come out from the dining and actually assist with us and make something from the things we're growing there. Here's just from this year alone, some of the Earth Day plantings and workshops we did. We were working with a lot of Bay Area companies, and because of our relationship with PayPal, we actually worked with the Honey PayPal office here in Santa Barbara, which is really nice because that's where I'm living now, so it's great. But yeah, lots of potting activities, workshops, planting days, just getting the employees more involved. We also, since the pandemic hit, we brought a lot of our material online. So we've been doing workshops and webinars basically all around the world. We were doing lecture series for Asia, Europe, and also parts of the United States not in California, which was kind of a cool experience for us because we didn't think we'd ever expand our knowledge past San Jose. And now here we are, we really got to expand all over the world, which was really cool to get beginner gardeners involved in something no matter where you live. Here are just some of our topics that we teach in some of these one-time webinars and home gardening series that we promote online. We do everything from pest ID and prevention to starting your seeds and harvesting seeds, and basically we try to give people a full year of gardening so that they can kind of get it in bits and pieces and really soak it in. We also work with, you notice what that is, the best Slack and MS Teams communication. It's just always being involved with the employees no matter what. We've also done consulting, which is kind of interesting for us. This was a garden in Illinois, Navistar's campus, that we consulted, showed them how to build the gardens, showed them really how to make it successful, and how our programs have worked for them. And this is their first year, and you can see there's a great turnout and great result of a lot of people who are interested in gardening and now getting their foot in the door on campus at their work. Do employee gardens really make a difference? This is a question we ask ourselves. We ask, am I doing something that actually is making a difference for these people, or is it just something that I do to make money? Well, that's why a lot of these companies ask for data. So we did some polls in one of our bigger corporate gardens, and you can see the positive impact, 100% positive impact on stress, 93% felt higher job satisfaction, 96% felt increased collaboration with their community, work community. 96% felt that this program was good or better than other programs at their campus. And also 100% felt confident in their ability to grow and harvest their own food, which was what we were going for. We wanted people to not just be a part of a different program at their work, but also be able to really grow their own food and feel confident bringing it home, bringing it to their community gardens and bringing it home to their community. And really, what we're doing this for is the smiles. And there's a lot of times when we go to these corporate campuses where they have these different workshops and events, and it's kind of like people going through the motions of doing whatever it is. But really for us, it's been, seeing these gardeners not faking a smile on campus, hanging out with people that they maybe normally wouldn't be hanging out with because they share a garden bed. People getting outside, away from their desk, and doing something they've never done before. So for us, this is really what it's all about. Seeing the smiles on people's faces, seeing people harvesting food that they've never even known existed before, and we're able to at least facilitate a little bit of this, growing your own food at work, which seems like such a novel and weird thing for a lot of these, people when I first talk about it. But once we grow and harvest a watermelon and then eat it with your coworkers at lunch, it's a pretty cool thing. And we've seen, everybody who's never grown food harvest their first thing, and everybody does talk about this indescribable feeling of really, what happens when you grow that first thing. Like, I never knew a pepper came off a plant like this. The most basic things that we think should be common knowledge is not anymore. So for us, it's really great just to see people go through the motion of planting, and then with our assistance and education, really harvesting in the end, which is great. We've had chefs at many of these companies really love the program as well because they can grow and harvest their own food. They can incorporate it with dishes and just make it a very local, tangible thing of not, the food miles of shipping these beets from the East Coast for some reason. Instead, they just grow it right back in their backyard, right behind the tank, where they actually make the meals. And yeah, that's just really, that's what it's all about. And for us, I mean, this is what we see it making a difference of people actually growing their own food and doing something different and fun at work. And we're promoting this idea. We do it ourselves, but we also want other people to do it because we know it works and it gives people a little bit more, brightens up their day just a little bit, seeing that they're harvesting whatever it is coming out of this garden. And, well, you can't see, now we're going, just gotta go through all the slides again. Do it again. This is actually somebody, I don't know if you can see his smile, but he's down there. The sunflower's way up there. So he was pretty surprised by that one. Yeah, and just to end, these employee quotes are another part of the data that we like to collect at the end of the day. Gardening is great for the soul, brings stress down. All these things that I knew because I've gardened for 20 years. These people have never done it before, and I was at that one place at one point in time as well. So I know that it's a game changer, and it makes you eat better, and it makes you try different foods. But to see people, work-grown produce is a game changer. For me to even hear that work-grown produce is a very cool thing. So for me, that's what it's all about. And I just wanted to share what we're doing in case anyone else is inspired to, bring it to their corporation or company, or, have any questions for us to help them get it going. It's all about the community and getting things rolling. So if you guys have any questions about starting an employee garden or a campus garden or anything like that, I'll be here for another few minutes for questions. And that's it. Thank you.
Is your website StartOrganic.org?
StartOrganic.org. Yep, that's the website. It's got all the info on there. You can email me, josh@startorganic.org, if you have any specific questions. But we're an open book. We want people to do this because we see how it's really doing a good thing. And we can't get everywhere, so, we'd love more of these to pop up, and we'd love to help out. So that's it.
This would be a great thing in large apartment complexes now that they're building these huge ones.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they left some area for people to garden.
So we've worked with some in the Bay Area. They're called agri-hoods. I don't know if you've heard this term, where they're actually building apartments and houses around a community garden, which is the agri-hood. So we're actually educating people at an agri-hood up in San Jose, where we do in-person education, and then we also have an online course for them they have access to. So it's like, there are lots of different ways that this can work. It's just getting more education to people that is convenient to them, And having that agri-hood is a great model, and they're starting to roll it out in more places. I've seen it popping up in San Diego, in Texas, and I think it's great because then you have a community garden that everybody's involved with. You see your neighbors, and you get to meet everybody and have a common hobby, and all that kind of stuff. Very cool.
So I have a question. Does the company pay for seeds, mulch, fertilizer?
So they pay us, and then we provide all that stuff. So we basically do all the heavy lifting for the employees. So we'll bring out the soils that we need, fertilizers, mulch, seeds, plants at the right times, and we do educational events around the plantings, and we'll do tomato tasting events and things like that. But the company pays us, and then we basically take care of the whole program. So our goal is to educate the employees so that they're helping to maintain the garden as well. It's not just for us to come in and maintain everything. That's not the goal for us. They hire us essentially to implement the program.
So when did you leave?
What's that?
Do you stay the whole time how old is your oldest garden? Are you still there?
So PayPal we've been doing for 10 years now. So 2012, 2013 we started at eBay, which was also eBay PayPal at the time. Then PayPal got bigger than eBay, so they took over that campus, and that's been a successful program since. They've done 4 garden expansions to get more employees involved, and it's been super successful and really great for us, because then we can show other companies like Apple and Intuit and Tesla that this is something that works, and here's what we're doing, and it's starting to work there too. So we're doing it with them. We're also working with a lot of smaller companies to do, one-time workshops and events and things like that, in case they don't have a huge campus to grow. Not everybody does. So just having something that's easy for smaller companies too.
Include small companies and corporations, or you also do individual homes?
We're not really doing the individual home stuff anymore. It spread us out really wide. And one thing we noticed with the corporations is kind of strange, but we could teach so many more people in one place at these agri-hood and corporation type situations, where we'll be talking in front of 100 people at a time. So we were doing individual houses at first, but it was really, we'd have maybe 15, 20 educational clients that would take all of our time, versus these corporations where we have 100 people at each stop, So for us, that's kind of the direction we went as a company, and started doing more of the corporations and schools and universities and things like that too. Yeah.
What size garden did you put in at Apple?
It's a small one right now. It's kind of a pilot program. So we're still working with them to see if it's going to be a permanent fixture, but it's a small one there. 9 beds. So that one's the smaller one, and then we've got like 60 beds over at PayPal. So it can range depending on what people's budget is and what they want for the company. It just depends. Some people don't have garden space at all, but we come in and do regular events. So it just depends on what people want. All right, I'm sure there's some other speakers that need to get up here. But if you guys want to talk to me at all, I'll hang out on the side over here to answer any other questions you may have about it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Josh.